which is my favorite topics of discussion. And I think you guys are going to love it. So what we're going to do this time that's a little bit different than last time is last time we talked about, I kind of had you make the worksheets before we actually went through the content. And I feel like that's helpful, but it's going to be even more helpful if you make the documents after I explain what the heck the documents are for. So that is going to be the new flow. It's going to be the your form explanation of all of the concepts, organization, and re-swizzling in your Google Drive, and then we're going to get going. So today we are going to be talking about content batching and marketing. Now, this is something that typically is like a favorite of everyone that has been through this program, because marketing can take up so much time, and we want to decrease that amount of time as you automate these systems, and also help you build your SEO, which is search engine optimization. So today what we want to do is we want to create these protocols so that you can save all of this time that you're spending. Most of us spend a ton of time on the marketing piece, and we want to cut that time down for sure so you can be even more efficient and effective with your marketing. And then I'm going to talk to you about how to weekly content batch. This is something that I do. We're not actually going to be creating this on next week's call because we've got way more content to do, but this is something that you guys could do when you collaborate and work together. Like Morgan was already getting people going. I'm like, love that. If you guys want to collaborate and do this together, Phantom partnership, whatever it's called, is awesome. And I want to teach you guys how I do that. Then I want to give you a protocol so that every day you have just a set thing that you do that takes your time way down, and also how to diversify your posting so you can attract the different pods of your audience. So the thing that is the most crucial part of creating a marketing calendar is the planning piece. So there are like 3 tiers I want you to think about. There's going to be the monthly plan, that's where you're going to content batch and create your content calendar. Then I have weekly for content batch. That should actually say the one that goes underneath the caption batch. So you're going to write all the captions. And then there's going to be a daily sequencing for posting. So it's like you go from the big funnel with all of the topics, then to the weekly, just the captions, and then daily, just a little sequence to make you even faster and efficient. And so the way that I thought about this when I was thinking about my content calendar is I was like, what is the minimum baseline? What is like the least amount of work I can do to still be efficient as I am marketing and making sure that I am posting weekly to meet my goals? So what we want to do is we want to think about the way that you are posting is reaching different pots of your audience every single week. So these are the different pots of your audience, if you want to think about like that, or the different pieces of your funnel. So there is going to be the cold leads. The cold leads are people who don't know you at all, and they are just getting to meet you. This is where we want to really build up just getting to know you. And I know I put the know, like, and trust factor here, but this is really where there's like, who is she? Who is Megan Wing? Why would I ever want to work with her? I don't really know her. And then they get to learn about why these topics are really important to me. And that is a really important piece of your marketing. The next piece is we want to talk to your warm leads. These are people who have been following you already. They've been following you for a good bit. And we want to build up that intrigue is like, ooh, what would it be like to become a client? And then we also want to be like, hey, what I have created within my program is tested, tried, proven, and true. And it's something that is going to compel you to take action and then just invite them to be like, hey, if you want this, I can make this happen for you. Come and book a consult with me. And then there's also like the purchasing process of going through the consultation page. Now, when we're thinking about marketing as a general topic, this goes throughout all different forms of social media. These are like the warm, hot, cold, hot, cold, warm, hot. Those are the things that are actually like things that have been like, even when like marketing was discussed in the 1920s, these are all different things that have been going on for ever since people have really started talking about marketing as a way to grow and build your business. However, when we're thinking about the different forms of social media, there are going to be things that change. There's going to be algorithm things that change. But if you are hitting each of these pots, it is something that is going to like, this is will withstand the length of time in your business forever. Like as long as you have your business, if you want to have it for 100 years, it's like these different pots and understanding how to reach each pot is something that is really, really important for you to just growing and building your business. So the reason why I mentioned that is like typically there is hashtags are a way to reach people. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Instagram specifically, because that's a place where I grew my business. But these are things that work throughout Facebook, Instagram, any other social media platform. And that's what this marketing calendar is specifically for. And the hashtags will change over time. Those are very helpful. I usually get mine from ChatGPT now, but that is kind of like the overview of the pots you want to hit each week. Now, the reason why pillars are so, so helpful when you are building your business is you want to create notoriety. You want to create this name brand recognition because your business is a brand. It is a business. It's a corporation, if you really think about it. And so what we want to do is we want to make it really easy for people who are a great fit for your business to find you. The reason why having the pillars is so beneficial is that is going to help you, what I mentioned at the very beginning, it's going to help you optimize your search engine optimization. So when you're thinking about search engine optimization, it literally means that the algorithms, and this goes, again, I think this should withstand the test of time, are even if you're Googling something, the amount of times that people are seeing the same words over and over, those are called keywords. So you want to be having these same words coming up and over again. Organization, time management, income, it's like increase your income. You want to be using those pillars as something that is really going to help your people find you. So what I like to do is to, again, create that notoriety. I realized that all I had to do was talk about one of my pillars every single week. And I would go through and talk about my cold Monday. I would talk to the cold leads. Wednesday, I would talk to the warm leads. And Friday, I would talk to the hot leads. So for me, if I was going back to the old pillars that I used, if I was talking about time management, if that was a topic of this week, the way that that would look is I would think about, why is time management specifically important to Megan Wing? Why did time management become a pillar of my business? And sometimes you'll be sharing similar stories over and over again, but people only see 13% of what you post anyways. So you want to be, again, creating that familiarity with you and your story. So I would be like, when I didn't schedule my time, I felt like I was all over the place. I felt like I was throwing spaghetti at a wall. And this was back when I was teaching, I taught time management. And I was like, it was one of the hardest things to be able to run my classroom and run my life. I felt like it really ruined my experience with myself and others. That's why I learned how to schedule my time and create a calendar that works for me using a method called Monday Hour One. It's very helpful. And because I was able to do that, I was able to have a better managed schedule, better managed mind, and it created a lot of peace of mind for my weekly schedule. So that could be an example of what it would be like for the cold leads. For the warm leads, that's where you can give them a tool. That's where you want to be thinking about, okay, what's a mini win I could give them with something small that is like maybe a subset of what I teach to like make their lives and businesses, or their lives better. Now I think businesses always. So it's like, okay, a warm piece of information could be something that if you are a coach, this could be something that you did on a coaching call. And you could talk about, okay, what was your unintentional model? I coached them, they got better, sign up to work with me. this could also be something like a tool that you use. So like I mentioned last week, I talked about the Pomodoro method. So a post I could do, it'd be like, do you ever feel like you're really struggling to stay focused for a 6-hour chunk? I actually don't recommend doing that. That's why I break it up using the Pomodoro method. When I use the Pomodoro method, I go 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, doing a non-screen related activity, and it helped me to work for a longer duration and break it up. If that's like, I hope that helped you. Like and follow for more. It doesn't always have to be the tagline of like, work with me now. That's a way that you could mix it up a little. And then for the hot leads, like I mentioned last week, is we want to be building those testimonials. Now, testimonials do not need to be someone who has gone all the way through your program. They are buying into you. They want to buy you as a personal brand. So what you want to do here is you just want to be like, okay, hey, I'm a trustworthy human. I know I can work with you. I can help you. So that is why even in this group, you guys could all do testimonials for each other. It's like you guys could all just like literally just be like, all right. It's like I am building like this know, like, and trust for Nadia. It's like feel like she's great. And so I can do a video for her and like all those different kinds of things. That's the way I want you guys to be thinking about getting more of those hot leads into your posting. So that would be the way that I would break it down, depending on what your pillars are. Just choose a pillar a week, and then you go and do the warm, hot, and cold posts. Now, what I mentioned before about the caption, I was like, my brain is like having a hard time with that word today. But with the captions, it's like you're not writing the full caption monthly. You're not going to write the whole thing. What I like to do, and I apologize. I know I promise I will stop like sharing my screen around a bunch, but as I go through, I like to write all of these ideas down as like just as I'm like going in different, like if I hear something in like on a podcast, if I'm on a coaching call and I hear something, I just have a list of all these ideas that have something to do with my business. So if you have shower thoughts, if you have as you're driving, if you think of something after you stop driving, go ahead and write that down and put it just at the bottom. And what I do on a monthly basis is that's where I go in and I'm like, okay, I just plug and chug those ideas to each post topic. And then I do a little riff of that. And so I just choose which topic goes where, usually depending on what I did the last month. I don't want to talk about like burnout right next to burnout again. It's like I want to switch it up. And I also change this depending on if I'm doing a presentation or a webinar. I want to talk about the topics related to that around the webinar. Then I just plug and chug the post ideas and make videos. So I'll just go through and I will just like look. It's like typically what I'll do is I'll do the topic first, then I choose the post, then I make the videos. And I literally just go through, and I'm about to do it this weekend for the whole next launch, is I just go through and I just change my shirt and I literally change my hair and I'll just go through and I'll make all my videos for the entire month, all in one setting. It's like, and I'll just like put up my hair, I'll change my earrings. It's like, I have a whole slew of things right here, but it makes it so easy. And then I'm just like, oh, I plug and chug. And then the other thing that you could do is with like, if you choose to use Instagram as a method of building your business, what you can do is you can do like trending audio for one day and you could do a talking one for the other day. So that I'm playing around with that. Again, I'm not sure if that will withstand the test of time. Lord knows the algorithm's always changing, but I found that's a really good way to break it up a little. So just like I said, this is what I mean when I say content batching, is actually making the video content. So if you're thinking about like the role of you as like the CMO, the chief marketing officer, it's like you have to do all the things. You have to be the content planner, you have to be the content creator, you have to be the graphic designer, you have to be the copywriter, all these different things. So the way that I was able to help my ADHD brain, like it was like almost like Ford's assembly line. It was like, okay, first I do this, then I do this. And then my brain is focused on each task at hand. It's like, okay, all right, I'm the the overall CMO is the one who is making the whole calendar and putting the things in, then I become the hat of the content creator. And then this is like the content batching is like, okay, I'm the content creator now. This is what I'm doing. And it looks something like this. So it's like, this is what it would look like. It's like the delivery, manage, mindset, marketing, selling. And then I was seeding here that I had I was actually doing the marketing conversion one-on-one. And so I wanted to make sure I was positioning myself there. You can see that like for the webinar I did about like planning your year, it's like I made sure to be like, okay, you're managing your time, you're planning. I made sure I talked about each of those topics during the week. And we'll talk about how to market your webinars and things like that, and the key pieces that you want to be sending your email list on week 6. So that'll be in like 3 weeks. So from here is I like to do that all at once. And that really doesn't take much time. Like it looks like it takes a lot, but it really doesn't need to. Oh, and I also put like the outfit. And if I did like, if I did a trending audio or something like that, I just put what the trending audio was, just to clarify that that's what Super Freaky Girl. I'm like, just in case you're like, what is here? It's like, that's the name of the audio. So from there, what I like to do is then I just am done with my content batching at that point. So that's how I do it really quickly. Like for even like during my launches, I actually post 7 times a week. And for anyone who's doing groups or things like that, I actually just double this. So I do 1 post about the group. That's like a Monday post. And then I do a personal story, or like maybe that's Sunday. So it's like Sunday about the group, Monday personal story, Tuesday training, Wednesday result share, and then I go back and I do personal story, result training, result share, and then I go back again. So it's like that's literally like how I've learned how to launch, and it's actually working very well. It's like, as you guys are all here, I'm like a testament to that. So it's great. If you guys are thinking about doing that in the future, that's just a way that you can take the same system and amp it up for a different type of business or a different offer. So within that, once all that's done, once I've been the CMO and I've been the content creator, what I like to do then is I like to go on the hat of being a copywriter and the graphic designer. I like to do that weekly. Typically, I actually save a full day for admin. Like I talked with Mikkel, it's like you might need to be really like flexible about this within your day-to-day. But this is where I typically write out all the posts. And I'm like, okay, what was this topic? I pull up my marketing calendar again, and then I go into each of the documents. So as you can see here, these are all hyperlinked. Personal story is my cold. It's just called personal story. Training is for my warm, and result share is my testimonials for my hot. So I'll just click into each of these documents and I'll be like, oh, I wanted to talk about the money back guarantee. I'm just going to type out money back guarantee. And again, I like to do all of the copywriting first. And then for the ones that I actually did a video where I'm talking, what you can do is you can actually use talk to type in a Google Doc. So if I were in here and I am in the live coaching calls, and again, I don't like to bounce back and forth, but I feel like this will be really helpful for you guys to see, is I go through, and if you go into your into a Google Doc and you go to tools and you go to voice typing, click to speak. If you're thinking about trying to bring more people into your business, I want to talk to you about doing something very simple that can help nurture the people that you already have in your audience. Super freaking simple, right? It's like the best thing ever. And anyone who has like podcasts or things like that, a lot of people pay really expensive transcribers, and you do not need to do that. You can just use talk to type, which is free, which is awesome. So I like to do talk to type, and I like to make it make sense. And I'm like, oh, that didn't make any sense, and just switch it around a little bit. And then I do that for all the posts. And then what I do is then I choose after that, I choose the videos or a visual. So what I have, there are 2 different ways that you can do this. Again, sorry, I'm like bopping around a little bit. But one of the things that I talked about with my social media strategist, it's great to see faces, and I like to have a little bit of blank space. So for the reel, I'll have a Canva. Up until this point, I was like, that's such a short dress. I shouldn't have used that, but it's fine. It's fine. But like within the reels I typically do is the reels will have the Canva, and then I'll do a post with my face. What happened is I ran out of posts I ran out of reels with my face. I ran out of pictures. She was like, we don't have enough pictures. And I was like, well, that's fine. So what I used to do is I would have my face be the reel, and then the Canva post be the post. Does that make sense? So the reel is this, and then the static post would be a Canva. So you can play around with that if you don't have professional pictures taken. You do not need them. It's like just have you in the reel, and that's more than enough to get people to kind of see what you're all about. But that's the way I like to do it. Again, you can market in any way that you want. I also do for each of these topics, for the money back guarantee and things like that, each day gets 2 posts. So I do a reel for each of the topics and a post. It's the same freaking content. It's just reaching 2 different audiences. Reels tend to get more of the new people in, and static posts or carousel posts, those typically get more of the nurture for your current audience. So I guess like if you think about it, like you'll see 6 things on my feed, 3 posts, 3 reels. So I get all that ready to go. I have never used a scheduling tool either. So there are things like Later, there are other things like that. Never used one, but I'm about to start. So I'll keep you posted with what that's like. Yes, Alicia.
Hey,
Alicia.
I just have a quick question. When you going back to your monthly and you said that those were hyperlinked, what were they hyperlinked to?
Excellent question. That is what we're going to create. You are going to have your marketing calendar, and I can't create, like, I wish I could. I wish I could go in. The reason why you have so many things to copy today is
No, I just want to know how you use it. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but just like, what are you hyperlinking it to?
I
Your
have
actual copy?
Mhm.
Is it copy? Okay, it's copy for that post is what that is.
And I do the post, the content, the copy for the post here. And then I do these hashtags, and I usually just take like a couple sentences, and then I do the equal sign, and then I do the reel here. And then I do if you go insert horizontal line, then you can add another line, and that's what I do so you can see. So this is the post for 10/9. This is the reel for 10/9. This is and I should have a post hashtags, reel hashtags.
So are all of those like your personal story on one document and your testimonials on another document? Is that what you're doing?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you just keep running. I got you. I love this because I have struggled with 1,000 different Word documents with all of my content, and no way to have it really organized except by date. And so this is good.
Oh, and it's so helpful because then what I posted in the group yesterday, if you want to see, now you can only do it with your phone, which is annoying, but there's a way that you can see your activity, and you can find the post that had more traction, and you can literally get the exact, you can just control F, and you can be like, what did I say on 3/5? Or it's like, I guess I didn't have a post on 3/5, but like I've actually found the date. I could just literally like copy and paste this. This is the best thing I use for my testimonials. So I'll be like, Janet. I'll be like, oh, it's like if I want to reuse Janet's testimonial, I literally just go in and I'm like, all right. It's like I'll just literally copy this exact thing, and I just like copy and paste this, and I put it at the top.
Gotcha. Okay, super. Thank you.
Of course. Nadia.
Hi, sorry. Again, just a quick question. So when you're saying when you click through, so say you click through into your personal story, that is one document for that day alone. It's not all connected.
It's one document for any of my cold posts. Great question. So all of my cold posts, all the yellow in my document, all of the posts are here.
Or on the same document.
For the whole year. And I usually switch
How do you link it to the right bit, if you know what I mean?
How do you?
So,
Like,
so see, sorry, carry on.
I'll just like copy and paste this, and I'll literally just be like, all right, this goes with like, it's like I'll have like a Canva post or something like that, and I'll go into Canva and I'll download that, and then I'll put this caption for that post, and then I'll post the reel, and then I'll just copy and paste this caption.
But she's asking, I think, Megan, she's asking, like, if you go back to your monthly calendar and you go to like, okay, so that Monday, the 2nd is the personal story. But if you want to go to Monday the 9th personal story, does it just take you to the document or does it take you to the post?
Great question. It just takes me to the post. So
it
just takes to the document. It just takes me to the document.
Right. So then you have to scroll through. Is that right, Nadia? Is that what you were trying to ask?
Yeah.
Perfect. You have to scroll through, but if you do control find, then you can be like, okay, I want to see 10-2, and it'll take you to all the times when 10-2 showed up.
Okay. So you've got 3 documents and then they're just constantly running.
Yep.
For the whole year. And then my other quick question, sorry.
Yeah.
You know how you're like, right, I've got your caption, but then you've got your reel. So are you saying that you're actually posting 6 times a week, but you're doing it?
Yeah. I post 6 times a week, but just repurposing the same content.
Okay. So would one just be a photo with this exact same caption? I don't understand.
Yeah, great. So I take a couple of pieces, like for Harmonies, like I just took a couple of like, so it's like this was the whole thing for the post, and then for the reel, I just chose like 5 key sentences. I was like, meet Harmony, copy. And I literally went like copy, paste, and I was like, if you miss the mastermind, no worries. It's like, and I just go like that, and that's how I make the reel text. It's the exact same content. I don't even switch it up. I literally just
sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't really understand what you mean though, because you've got like one, say it's like Harmony's testimonial, and that's just her video.
Yep. And then
so that's the reel is her video, and then what you've got a static post with her content as well. So one is her speaking it, and one is her just a static photo of her writing it.
Yep.
And do you do them right next to each other, or? Okay, so like day after day, like one day each.
Do it day after day. When I was my social media person's doing this for me, so she switches up some stuff sometimes. But like I would do it day of. I'd be like, oh, this is the exact same post day of. I would there would be 2 things on my feed.
On that same day. Okay.
Same exact content. So you see, it's like if you see like Sarah, investing, don't work with
okay.
Not converting with presentations, you need to follow up. Harmony. So it's the same 6 things.
Okay.
Just like, and I would just like, why am I like, reels get a lot of views and posts get a lot of views. Let's do both. I was like, I've got this, I can just do the exact same content. It is no sweat off my back, and it just made things really easy for me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
More content, but you're not. It's like the same, and that's how you get the SEO optimization too. It's like you get the like more hits if you say the same name multiple times. So if you're like testimonial, people are gonna be like, oh, when I come to Megan, I see testimonials. When I'm saying like investing, all that is on there. Webinar. It's like all just like helping me build my brand and audience. So great question. And then I always like say like location and tag yourself. That's always a fun thing. So what I did, again, I was like, oh, Alicia, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just, there was some stuff in the chat. And so, yeah, I think that's exactly what she's saying, Harmony. And then they had asked about changing your outfit every time. I mean, there are some social media people who say that's not even necessary. Like, you could wear the same outfit. So,
Oh yeah.
just wouldn't get hung up on that, but sounds like Meg has a system that she uses, but, yeah, don't let that be your,
Yeah.
your wardrobe change be the hang up. But I think that
Yeah.
is what you do, right? You do
Oh, I've
change.
100% done it with the same black shirt every time. It's like that. So I did back in March and I was like, yep. I was like, it's going to be the same hair, same post. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I just need to get something out here and it's going to be good and it's fine. The other thing is like, or like anytime that you're wearing like you could also like, the one I just did the video for, it's like after our call last week, I was just like, such a good post idea. And so I just like after a coaching call, sometimes I'll just like make it like then and I'll be like, what did I say? When was that? And I'll just like go back to that as well. A question was about chat. And so I literally just used Chat GPT and I'm like, I just post the posts like, what are hashtags that would work for this? Here are the hashtags. And I say like, what are trending hashtags? And I only need to do that once. And that's literally all I use Chat GPT for. But we'll like later on, after we go through like the additional systems and things like that, Christina actually did a training on like other ways to use Chat GPT. So that'll come like later on, but just so you know that that's how I use Chat now. So the thing that I want to make really effective for you guys is the daily posting. This took me a lot of time because of my ADHD and like other things, but it was like one of those things that like I had to have a set protocol. So this is where almost like becoming like the VA and social media manager. And you're going to be, this is where what I did is I posted the picture, added hashtags, pre-written caption, hashtags, location. And then I did the video, caption, heading, trending audio. And then I would repost both of them to my stories. So that's just like what I did on the days that I was posting. So it would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day. You could spread it out a little bit more, whatever works for you. And this is a very important reminder because we're about to talk about like the issue that I see is a lot of times people are taking a lot of time to make their content on social media. It is the bulk of their time. What we're about to talk about really quickly for this next piece is getting results from your marketing. So we want to be like making sure that we're bringing in more leads and actually focusing on the results that you're getting. So a lot of times I see people focusing on like, oh, did I get more followers? I'm not getting as many views. The algorithm changes constantly. And those are what we call vanity metrics because they're like, oh, it feels really great to get like a lot of views and a lot of clicks and a lot of follows. But we want to focus on results, which are actually getting people to buy from you. Most of you guys have a very similar audience size to me, like around the 2,500 mark, or 2,700, I guess now. But it's like within that, I make sure that when I am I know the people who are following me. We're going to talk about that in like 2 weeks, but it's like, I know all of these humans, like I make connections with them, I build relationships, and I've SEO optimized it. That's how I've been able to scale. So it's not about the size of my audience. I have my email list is like 330 people. It's not that much. And I already hit 6 figures in September for the year for 2023. So it's like, it's not necessarily it's like, we want to make sure that we're not just focusing on views, followers, all those things that are great. We want to really focus on creating valuable content that converts. We want to convert humans to purchase because you guys are so fucking good at what you do. And we need to get more people working with you. Because I really do feel like everyone's business is so good. I'm like, if everyone could just like work with you, I'm like, the world will be a better place. So I think it answered some questions as we went. Are there any lingering questions about the content calendar, batching, or anything like that? If you think of them, post it in the chat. I actually have the chat pulled up now. I didn't have it pulled up, so I'm sorry I didn't see anything previously. But is everyone okay with the format of me like pausing as we go to explain? It's like I that works for me instead of just like keeping plug and chugging along. So feel free to raise your hand and like let me know what you're feeling. Now, this is something that I want to help you guys get a little bit of perspective. And I'm going to talk you through how I learned how to do copy.
Megan, can I
Yes.
ask a quick question? Sorry.
Yes.
So, I love this. I love the scheduling and thinking about it in the cold, warm, hot. Like this is really helpful. And the other piece I was just thinking about is like the story element of like, because I feel like that's obviously because it's such an engaged audience, like that's a great place to leverage. But I feel like stories can get really sporadic and like you can spend a lot of time in that. I feel like for me. So I was curious if you have a system for that at all, or that's just kind of like whenever you feel like it, or how you approach stories.
Yeah, so for stories, that's a great question. One of the things that I just really like the main things, if I'm thinking about things that whenever I'm thinking about the effort that I'm putting into my business, I always want to make sure there's a high ROI. There's a high return on investment of the time that I'm spending. So if you're seeing that you're getting people from your stories, if they're really engaged and you've got a lot of people watching them, then that probably does have a bigger ROI. The things that I know give me the bang for my buck with the time that I'm spending is if I reposting my post to my story, and also making sure that I'm having those I'm sure you guys have seen I talked about a little bit last week. It's this is a huge thing. I can share. I made a video of how I do this, but I just take y'all's wins and I post it into a message. And then I say like, so freaking proud. This, and I was telling Alicia about this, has been crazy huge. It's so simple. Your clients are already telling you positive things that they've experienced. It's completely anonymous. And when you post something like this, it's like every day I'm getting results. Oh, by the way, I'm getting results. I'm getting results. And people will link you in their mind to that. So that is an important piece of it. The other piece, you have to think about your business and the way you want to position yourself. I think that a really important piece of creating systems for me and my motivation around creating them is to give me more flexibility, work-life balance, and save more time. So I know that for my positioning, I want to show people that I'm not just working all the time, that I'm living my life. And I'm also like, I'm having fun. I'm having something enjoyable. So another thing that you can do with your stories, have these engagement tools that can be really helpful. Sometimes I do that with my stories and things like that. I just was really, and with these things, it's like, I just get really excited. Wow, that's a great face. But it's like, I just get really excited and I'm like, oh, we should talk about this. I don't prioritize that as a part of my marketing strategy or things like that. That's just something that happens kind of organically for me. And then like, I was just like, how small are they? And I posted a lot about Frank the day before. So I wanted to make sure that my other cats had some love. And then also posting about like, we went on date night last night. It's like, oh, look, I'm building a multiple 6 to 7 figure business and I'm still watching the Cowboys game with some diddly boppers, because I think that for me, my positioning, I also want to be like relatable. And so that's the things that I post on my stories. So does that help? I was like,
yes, that is really helpful. Can I ask another question?
oh, of course, that's what this is for, is asking questions.
So on the time management piece, just with because you're going in daily to post, or you have a social media manager do it now.
Yeah.
But I guess if you have any tips or tricks for like, I feel like I have a hard time having Instagram on my phone and only using it for work, because it very easily slides into I'm justifying it to have it on my phone for work, but really I end up just wasting time on it.
Oh my God, I totally agree. I wish that I could take it off my phone. That's literally why it was the first thing that I hired for. Also, a huge thing is I've had friends who have gone through 4 social media managers and taken years to get a VA to do these kind of things or things like that. I have not had any problems with this system since I've hired her, which is awesome. That's just like a side note, but Tess has literally just been able to, she picked it up when I was at the LCS mastermind and I couldn't even support her. I couldn't even respond if she had any questions, and she just did it, which is awesome. The other, and that's speaking to Tess because she's wonderful. And also like, I think the system was pretty clear. It's like, and what I was talking with, I think it was like Sarah about this, because on our consult, she was like, my 14-year-old could do this. I'm like, yes. I was like, that's what we want to get the level of ease to create that. So very, very helpful. And the other thing is when I have it on my phone, if you're knowing that, just like what Morgan was talking about, like I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that anytime you get on your phone, you get distracted. You can either do that Pomodoro method and be like, I'm going to do 25 minutes and I'm going to set my timer and I'm going to make sure that I only do this. It's something that like also we're going to be talking about networking and managing your leads soon. And like, it's very hard for me to like look at all these people who I haven't responded to and not respond to them first. This is where we really need to just like put the blinders on. I'm only here to post and I'm going to do this. If you notice that it's taking up more time, do some of the like mindset heavier tasks earlier in the day. So if you need to make a presentation, if you need to do something that is not social media related, like yesterday I did all of my finances. I like updated my QuickBooks and all this other stuff. I made sure I did that before I got into social, because I know sometimes I can get into like the spin of it. So I like made sure that I was like, okay, it's like I'm gonna do this, and then I did the social media aspect. If you can separate it and put it towards the end of the day, just like what I'm going to recommend you do for some other less brain intensive administrative tasks, like responding to emails and responding to messages and things like that. If you can put it towards the end of the day, that's what I would recommend, just based on like your brain's ability to keep functioning, unless you're a night owl, and then sometimes it works for you. But I would say that like get all the like other really important tasks done and then post would be my recommendation. Really good question. I saw a really concerned face. I was like, are we good? I was like, yes, you can schedule on, yes, you can schedule. Yes. And you can schedule it on the app, or I'll give you guys my feedback about later. It's supposed to be set up by Thursday because we're going to meet again. So I was like, I'll let you know what that's like. That could also be a really great way to stay off of social.
Megan, I have a question.
Yes, of course. How are you, beautiful?
Hello. So I don't know if this was supposed to come from the pillars, and I have my pillars done from last week, but it's just like I look at that content calendar and I just freeze. And like when it comes to like actually producing content and like thinking of what to say. And what has worked for me in the past is just sporadic posting. If I feel inspired, I'll post. And obviously that's not a system. That's why I'm in this group, is to like do things more systemically. So I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on like really just like how to even get started, because I freeze every time I look at a content calendar.
Okay, so what I would do for you is there's this piece of your brain called the reticular activating system that goes to work. And now that you guys have your pillars, most of you, I'm meeting with a couple of you this week, your brain is already thinking, what can I tell my people about marketing planning? And then you have those hits of inspiration. When you have those hits of inspiration, I want you to make a list of all the inspiration hits, whether it's just you thinking about it, or in that moment, record a video. Like record a video about the topic. And this is the reason why these are color coded the way they are, is whenever I am in a coaching call, like for myself, I color code it that way. So I'm like, that is not because they're related to a certain topic. That would be a cool way for you to do it. But being like, oh, this is a good one for, and if we're thinking about you and your pillars, being like, oh, okay, now this might take, maybe if you're thinking about, it might take a little bit longer for you to like, it might take like a month for you to get enough content. But if you're like, oh, I've got a great idea for fulfillment today, this is a perfect thing for me to talk about fulfillment or motivation or clarity or sustainability. I want you to start writing those ideas down here. And then what you can do is then you'll be able to plug and chug on that day when you do the content batching. Instead of like trying to look at the content calendar, I just, so that everyone's clear, the first time you do it, it probably will be very overwhelming and you're going to maybe not have ideas for topics for each of your pillars. And that would be, I totally get that. But as you go, you're going to keep getting ideas around fulfillment and, what was it? It's not directions, motivation and clarity and sustainability. And all those ideas are just going to keep flowing. A great thing to do is anytime you're on a coaching call with somebody and you talk about one of those things, record a reel right afterwards. just, you don't need to post it right away. You can just save it and have a bank of all these reels that you're like recorded sporadically. And then this is a way that you can optimize your SEO with the like inspiration, with the moments of inspiration. It can like help to balance that out. Does that help? I know
That
that's
is helpful. Yeah, that is helpful because I think like it may seem simple, but just recording the reel and not thinking that I have to post it, I think it's going to be really important for me because I'll get off the call, like the reel, that inspiration, and just, yeah, building the backlog of videos is also helpful. Yeah, thank you.
amazing. Sorry, did you hear that? My like soda stream was like exploded in my face. I was like, ah, but yes, that is great. Because the first time it will feel maybe a little overwhelming, but if you look at that and you're like, okay, why is fulfillment important to me? I can talk about like, I was in a job that didn't feel aligned, and now I've started this business and it feels so aligned. And then you can talk about like one of the 4 P's and be like, when you want to step into if you want to feel more fulfilled, it's like, I want to give you some sort of impact that you're creating in the world. And that means that you need to step into one of the P's, that's power. And that means that I want to help you when you step into your true power, when you're thinking about what you want to do from a aligned perspective, you will feel like you're living your purpose instead of questioning the impact you're creating. I would love to teach you, like, that's why it's something that's important for me and my clients. Like and follow for more. Your call to action can be different. So like maybe it's like follow me for more for the cold leads. It can be like comment below for the warm posts, and then for the hot post you can be like sign up a consult. You got to do a consult. Working with me is the best, you know? So yeah, really, really great questions. So now if we're feeling good, well, this is a very, very important piece that I definitely want to hit on this week, because it's going to give you perspective. For marketing is important and we want to do marketing, but we're going to talk about other strategies to use as well. So when you are thinking about your business formula, this is the kind of backbone for your business and will help you see what is going to be something that works for your business to grow. We're going to talk about indirect and direct ways to make your business work. We're also going to just touch on the progress tracking, which will happen on week 7. You guys are going to learn about how I actually track my business formula every single week. Then I'm also going to talk to you guys about writing copy and copy examples. But it's important for you to know why having a business, what piece is social media filling for your business? Because we can get really caught up in here. And there are things that you do, everything. I want you to just to know that everything you are doing up until this point is working. Even if you're not necessarily seeing different metrics that you're measuring that are growing, for instance, your income, even if your income isn't growing at the speed you want, we just need to change some of your metrics. And the reason why I like to think about your business like a formula is it makes it very like objective instead of subjective. So when we're thinking about your business, it's almost like when you're thinking about like creating your business plan, it's almost like creating it's like a science experiment, and you've got different variables, and we want to do different variables to see what works. So we've got indirect ways that your business is going to be working. That's like managing your time, managing your leads, planning, getting your clients results. That's something that people don't see front facing. Getting certified, getting coaching, all those things are indirect. And then the direct ways are like actually front facing, marketing, selling, teaching, presenting, building relationships. Those are all things that are indirect. Those are direct ways that people will see with you and your business. So when I'm thinking about the internal work that I did, the indirect ways, that's the way I like to think about my internal work that I'm doing to grow my business. So when this is my information for 2022, I invested $66K. I put a ton of time into the indirect ways that I was building my business, which are what you guys are doing: self-coaching, writing copy, managing, doing like all the evaluations, the planning piece of things, actually delivering. Those are the pieces of my business that I spent a ton of time on. I also have always had mentors. And I think that's also like a huge piece of like business growth. But the other piece of the direct piece is what is actually creating conversations and converting people to actual clients. So that is like, I spent a ton of time doing interactive networking. I also did a bunch of outreach. I did webinars, I did presentations, which are pretty much one and the same thing. I did that to a bunch of different people. I did it to sororities, NC State, women's groups, coaching groups, anyone I could do a presentation with, I did. And the reason why I think that this is important for everybody to see is I think that maybe people see on the outside a lot of business owners that are like, oh, it's like, I have created this very successful business. Like, I made 6 figures, and all you see are the posts, right? A lot of times, like, we see like a lot of the posts for people and we're like, oh, they just made 6 figures from posting, which is a part of it. But there's also a lot of other shit that went into building a 6-figure business. Now, I'm going to try to do it in a more efficient way than I did it, because there was definitely a better way to do it. But a lot of us, you don't see the behind the scenes of like all these businesses that are scaling. They're doing a ton of work behind the scenes. They are doing posts. I even had a podcast. I had my email list. It's like there were so many things that I was doing in my business that are, I think that what I want you guys to think of as like the spaghetti flung at the wall. It's like, these are the pieces. It's like there's the front end and the back end are all these things. So we want to be tracking the things that you're doing, and we want to figure out where you are getting your clients. Where are you getting your consults from? What is actually the formula that makes your business scale to 6 and multiple 6 figures? And so what we want to do is we want to think about what are all the things that you're doing, indirect, indirect, and increase the intensity for the things that are working. So this, just so you guys can see, in 2022, I did this many consults, ton of consults. These were, the green is for people, and I tried to like black it out as much as I could, but the green are people who converted, and then the red are people, the green are converted in this column. The white are people who did not convert. So you guys can see all the people who I did consults with, the dates that I did, and we're going to start to track that in week 7, like I mentioned. And I just want to show you, just so you have an idea of this. I also like to track where the heck are they coming from. It's like, where did they book a consult from? This was a direct from Instagram. These were from word of mouth. So I had a couple people from Self-Coaching Scholars. I had a friend refer me. Someone was in 200K with me. Another like word of mouth person, referrals. I did presentations and people directly like booked straight from there. Dimitri, I was like, that was you within that, and more referrals, more Instagrams and things like that. So you want to start to keep track of like, who is actually coming to my business? Where are they coming from? And then we want to collect data on that and be like, okay, so from networking, I got 29 consults just from me talking to humans. That was like word of mouth, building relationships, being in programs where I got to talk to people. I converted 23 clients from that, which was a 79% conversion rate. That is huge. With Instagram, I got only 7 consults from it. I got 4 clients, and that was 57%. With webinars, I did 4 and 4. And so you want to keep track of your conversion rate, and we'll talk about like how to calculate that and all that jazz in week 7. But the reason why I'm showing you this now on the week that we're talking about marketing is really important. I spent 900 hours of my year. I just guesstimated, it wasn't like exactly, like I didn't check, but it was like I did 900 hours of work on social media, and it had a very low return of investment. Because when you are at the beginning stages of your business, that is what we call the one-to-many method. The email list, the posting, all those things is you talking to a bunch of people, which is great. That is something we want to continue doing. That's why we have a process for it, right? Oh yeah, there were 60 episodes. Sorry about that. I did that actually back in 2021. So if you want to look up Elevate Your Endgame, this is like all the things I was trying to do. I was like, yep, I started a podcast. I started a group. I did all these things to try and figure out a way to make my business work. But I found that the networking, which is I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about like next week, was actually where I got a lot of my people. So you want to make a plan for your year and you plan for your energy. Like, and just know that like I'm posting, I'm getting those keywords in. I'm doing what's called billboard marketing. So I'm like posting so people know me. And if somebody is driving by and they're like, oh, that seems really pretty good, I should book a consult with this person. But I just don't want you to put so much energy and effort into social media. It's very important. It's great. But we want to also be focusing on building relationships, especially at this level that you guys are at right now, is really, really critical. And I've actually been hearing some things about like, you know, the algorithm changes and all these different things. It's like all these different changes. People at like the 8-figure level are shifting to really talking to more people. I've seen it for every single 8-figure coach that in business I look at is like all about building relationships now. A lot of things have shifted, and this is something that will stand the test of time. It's like the algorithm will change, ads will change, all these things are going to change. But if you are just talking to people and building relationships, that is really important for you to know. So you might not know your formula. You might have no consults. That's totally fine. Just do what I'm doing. I was like, just take the things that I'm doing. And I like literally like we're going to talk about like the time that you're going to spend. That's going to be week 6. You're going to be like, okay, how am I spending my time making sure I'm networking along with doing the Instagram posting and maybe some webinars, things like that. Those are going to be the things that are going to grow your business as you grow. And again, also ask for help. I was like, if you're any sage, if you're like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, please ask questions, reach out to me. I'm here to support you always. Now, within writing copy, again, remember, this is important, but it's not something that I want you spending like when I did, like literally like 20 to 25 hours a week. I was like really obsessing over Instagram. And it's like, we want to have a healthy relationship with social media, even though it is a great way to build our businesses. We want to just like keep it in mind and be like, okay, there's just a formula. We're just going to play with it. You want to have something that is, when I like to write copy, you like to get a fun headline, which is like a question, a statistic, something surprising. And so for the cold leads, what you can say is, this is something I learned about time management, burnout, marketing, whatever you're doing. For the warm leads, you can be like, this is how to manage your time a little better. And for the hot leads, it's like, oh, this is something that Bisan got, she managed her time so much better from coaching with me. And like, you know, it's like all those different things like that we want to keep with that same cadence. Within your body, then you're going to, that's like, so the headline is the most important part. Also, 80% of people only just read the headline, which is like crazy. So very important, the headline and the call to action. Those are like the 2 things. So if you want to focus on like amping something up, building your copywriting skills, those would be 2 places that you should definitely like take a look at. And then with the body, this is where you're like, oh, when I was trying to manage my time, like I was saying, I kind of gave you guys an example when we were going through, but like, this is something I had, this is something that I was experiencing. And then what did you, the client, them, just a random person or a client, do to overcome? And then why it's important to solve this problem. It's like, when you manage your time, you are able to have more energy. You can have more work-life balance. It's great. Again, use your pillars. That's why we did the work. Then we want to have a cool call to action. So it's like with the cold leads, you can be like and follow for more. For the warm leads, you could be like, join my freebie, which could be like a Facebook group. It could be something, or just be like, comment below. That would be like a great warm lead call to action. And then hot leads, sign up for a consult. So we want to just like be doing that. And then in the last round, it's like for webinars, I do a lot of like warm posts along with it. Now, I've been told that I write too much from a person who professionally does copy. And I was like, wow, well, I teach this, so sorry. But essentially she was like, take this and pare it down. Like, we're always wanting to pare it down, make it simple. So this was talking about like creating digestible, teachable concepts. So you can just kind of see like headline, this is the body, and then teaching concepts. It's like, follow me so you can see how I teach my concepts. Again, not a super great, super strong example. Maybe I'll change this up for later, but just so you guys can see that like the headline and call to action are one sentence, typically. You can also use the word PS for a call to action. Like, PS, learn more. Yeah, you know? So, and then I like, this is actually what I was telling Nadia. I was like, the large piece is like, I take that and that becomes my content. And then I make the 2 sentences for the reel. And thank you for the work you do in the world. Woo! Y'all, that was an hour and 10 minutes of teaching. It's important though. It's important for us to do this. And I want you guys to now have this in, and I know that like for the first couple modules, if you guys, I've scheduled it. So it's like, there is usually just one thing to teach, but I really wanted you guys to see that marketing formula to be like, oh my God, okay. So even when I am writing all this marketing and doing all this stuff, it doesn't have to be that stressful. It's like, we're literally just like trying to create a billboard for your brand. So let's go through and let's make sure you guys have copies of all of this in your Google folder. So go ahead and minimize me or whatever, like put me on the side and come back to the 6-Figure Systems Mastermind. Go to the marketing system. Click on the marketing calendar template. Make a copy. If you have more than, oh, sorry, I was like, we can slow down. I was like, you totally got, I was like, I saw the hand and I was like, well, I got you. So it's just underneath the slides in the classroom under pillar or module 3, go to the template, customize your copy. And then when you've got that, if you have more than 4 pillars, feel free to just copy and paste those. And then we want to save your marketing calendar in your drive. So just click the folder, click 6-Figure Systems, make a new folder if you didn't already for marketing. Put it here. And that's where you're going to save your marketing calendar. I already did this. So it's already here. Then you're going to do the same thing for your cold. Just make this one cold. Make a copy of this document. Save that bad boy to marketing as well. Just going to go back in. Again, mine is a little bit, and it's just going to be under here, under cold. And then you're going to save the warm. Same thing. Make a copy. Save that to your lovely drive. And then hot. Save it to your drive. Then scroll down a smidge. Yeah, of course, you can expand it to 6 hours or 6 pillars. Then you're going to go to the copy creation template if you wish. This is just a breakdown of like the headline, body, call to action. It says copy of copy. So it's like copy creation template. Go back into your drive, save it under marketing if you want to use that as a template. So within your Google Drive, you will have a folder. And again, you don't, these folders are from what I did for the welcome video. So this is like week 1. If you guys want to go back and look at it, you do not need to have that. But I like to make it 3 marketing, just so each pillar is going aligned with it. And then all these should be here. Don't worry about these 2. I need to remove them. So does everybody have that in your drive?
Megan, go back. What are we supposed to have in our drive?
Yep.
The last thing you said?
Right, y'all. Just cold, warm, hot posts, and then your marketing calendar and the copy creation template.
Okay. Those other folders that you were showing, we're not supposed to have all that yet.
No, if you wanted to make them just so you're ready for what we're going to do next week, but you don't need to have them right now. Now, I have a video in the classroom about how to include a hyperlink into a spreadsheet. So each of these, I would love for you to, within your folder, it's like just so that you can make it like mine. Again, I wish I could do this for you guys, but you're learning a great skill. You're going to go to the cold leads. And again, I have a whole video, so you don't need to like worry about this, but you want to make it anyone with the link can edit. And then you put the link, you click it here, then you can link it. So all the cold leads will all, every time, you don't need to like re-pull up this cold leads document. You can just click into it from your marketing calendar. And that video, if you want to see that in a slower motion, is right here. Video explaining how to include a link. Oh no, video explaining how to include a link in a spreadsheet. I also did like a quick reel tutorial, just like of how I get all of the stuff on my reels, which I was actually told maybe to even take less of, so feel free to take it or leave it. And then also, if you've never used Canva, there's a link for that here. And Canva is just a great resource for like lots of graphics if you, to make it look a little bit more professional. All right. Let's open this up for some coaching. I was like, I'm seeing so many mixed faces. There's a lot to take in. Take in your time. Remember to, do you create copies? Yes, annually. And no, there is no, the color coding behind the full, annually, I create like a new warm leads document, and the color coding behind the folders, where is it? I just did it. So this is the welcome module. So I made that red. The orange is for the 6-figure essentials. So that's the things that you're going to be like learning here. Then you'll see we get into additional systems. So I made the additional systems yellow. I made the bonus systems and guest speakers, where'd it go? Green. And then if you like to take any notes, and if you wanted to keep a copy of her progress form, that was 17.
Megan, on your marketing calendar, you had week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I mean, do you just carry that out to 52, or how do you do that?
So great question. I have each month here. Okay. Army, you asked a great question about 6. So I have 6 pillars as well. So I have an overlap of a month. So, and I was actually kicked off of social media it was April to May. So like, this is like very sporadic, but usually it'll be like November to December, October to November, July to August. Like you guys can see how it's evolved over time. Like I used to post 5 times a week. Now I've just like broken it down, made it a little easier. So I just have like the months here.
Got you. Okay. So a completely new spreadsheet. You could just copy. Could you make copies of
here? And actually what I'm going to do for my launch, for anyone who's launching, instead of, for anyone who has like a group or things like that, I'm just duplicating this exact same spreadsheet, moving it on over. And I'm going to say launch for November 2023. And
you're going to post the same stuff?
For this one, I am. It's gonna be like the exact, well, actually, and yeah, I'm not even gonna show you guys that. It's like a lot, but like I got all the data. I'm gonna show you because I'm very proud of it. But like I got all the data from each of the posts
Yeah.
that I did, and also from my emails and all those different kinds of things. And so I'm gonna do the things that work the best. And the things I'm looking at this weekend, I'm gonna be like, okay, what needs to change for this launch? But I've actually figured out, like, now I have a system. Like I said, it's like my system is literally just doubling up. You can even see it here, guys. Like, so it's like the beta post. The reason why I have that is from a program I did 2 years ago. But it's like, this is the post about the group, and then personal story training, result share, personal story training, result share. So this is literally like my system for it is like boom, 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 boom. And then this is the week of. So that's what it looks like. And instead of having her go into the personal story and things like that, because I wanted to have the copy for my launches specifically in a different place, I just have like week 1's posts are here, not to confuse you guys. Don't worry about this if you don't launch, but like, I just wanted to have all of the stuff for my launches in one place that wasn't in the whole personal story and the whole training, because I also included the beta post in there, or the post about the mastermind in there. So that was a way that I differentiated it. Really, really good question though.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask you a question just because this is coming up for me? Like I haven't used Google a whole lot as a resource and a place to basically as my server or my platform. So do you ever have any anxiety about what happens if Google crashes or goes away? Like, do you have a backup system? I don't know why this is coming up for me right now. Like I can feel it in my chest. Like,
Was like that.
work. She's put so much work into all of this. What?
It's such a good point. Yeah, no, I have not felt that fear, but I guess what you could do is you could back it up to like a Word document or something like that for sure. But the other thing I want to offer to you is the reason why I actually don't think that freaks me out, even if it were to crash, is I could create this on any platform. I could create it using spreadsheets, and it's not necessarily the copy that I have, it's the skill of knowing how to organize my marketing. So for me, it's like, and I can also always go back to the post. Yes, it would be annoying. I was like, it would not be fun. But I just did that literally for this past launch. And it took me like an hour this weekend. I was like, oh, that was annoying. But I have a link to every single post that I did. Again, specifically for launches, you guys do not need to do this at all. Do not do this if you do not want to. But if that even is like something that you're thinking of, you could always do this and like back it up.
Okay. That made me think of another question, but I mean, and so I guess part of the overwhelm too that's coming up is just, it seems like a lot of work on the front end, but this is going to smooth out, right?
Yes. And like,
Okay.
oh yeah. Like, it's like literally you do this once.
Like, I'm like,
I know, it was like, that's why you guys collaborate with each other. Do it together. Do not do this alone. But it's one of those things that like, I literally it's getting in the groove of it, right? So it's like, if you think about your hikers, right? It's like the first time they go on a hike, they're like, oh my God, there's so much to do. It's a long journey, but they do it like once and they're like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then it's like, it gets better and better every time with the frequency that they're practicing. So it's the same thing. We're building the muscle of becoming this. It's switching your mindset from becoming like, oh, I do marketing, to like, oh, I'm the CMO of my company now.
Yeah.
How did that feel? I was like, thanks
for talking me off the ledge.
Literally anytime. That is why I intentionally was like, please reach out. I was like, I want you guys to talk to me. No fear is like, or any concerns or anything like that. All of those are for good reason. And if I can help regulate your nervous system while you're doing this stuff, it's going to make it so much easier. I promise. And again, the other reason why I said this is like, everything that you're doing now is working. If you want to take this and be like, all right, this is a really interesting theory. And like I said at the beginning, like I would love for you to adopt this system with me so you can try it out for the next like 5-ish months, see how it goes, and then we can adapt and abandon as we need. That's fine too. But if you can also feel free at any point, just be like, this is too much for me right now. I see a gap in my schedule in December that I would like to take a look at this again and just continue with the current thing that you're doing for marketing. Besides, same for you. It's like the inspiration, if that is working for you right now, you don't need to completely shift gears on October 17th, 2023 and be like, never gonna do that again. It can be a gradual shift too of just your mindset around it and being like, oh, okay, I see the value in like that SEO optimization, and I think that'll be helpful. So how much time do I'll allocate? Every month, I do that batching. And believe it or not, this has taken lots of practice. But in order to plug and chug the topics and just throw them in here, that usually takes me about it's an hour to plug and chug and like 2 hours to create the content. So for my content batching, I would say it takes about 3 hours. If you think about it monthly, the testimonial, you're not even doing. You're not recording a bit most of the time. You're not recording a video for that. Someone else has. You might be recording a video just talking about the person. But what you want to do is you want to just like take an hour for this. And like, it's like maybe like 10-ish minutes, 10, 15 to this, 45 minutes to choose. And then the switching shirts, like you can see, it's like, this is the outfit that I wore, the audio. And I just said trending. Because now my social media manager is just finding a new one. And I was like, I was just talking, trending. This one I actually did have music that could work for it. And so I had that there. Then for the weekly, when I'm actually writing the post down on that's what I typically do. I do on Fridays, but Rob's been watching a lot of football on Sundays, so I've kind of started to do this on Sundays. So just like, I'll just like have this up and like be doing that. That usually takes me like about another hour. For you, for your first starting out, maybe 2 hours. But again, doing it like at the same time would be great. And then the last piece would be the daily. I think I actually still have this on my calendar because I still haven't taken it off from when my was like post uploaded. So I say 30 minutes for that. 1, 2, 3. And like I just put it for 5 days a week. But and then that just becomes like, again, and you see it's at the evening because I know you typically when I'm on that social media, I know I get really distracted. And so I usually try and put it at the end of the day. And I just haven't switched out this yet. Morgan.
Hello.
Hi, beautiful.
My question is I struggle a lot of my content is going to be pulling together multiple videos for one reel rather than, just one video of me talking or pointing at something. And I am finding that putting together videos that are multiple videos just overwhelms me to the point that I don't want to do it. And I've never done it. And I was curious if there were any tips or programs on video editing to like make it quicker to have the section of the video you want and in the order that you want. It kind of creates this, I guess, fight, flight, or freeze thing. And I'm just not a good video editor. So I was curious if there's tips and tricks there.
So first off, I would love to just like offer that what if, now there are tips and tricks, but I want you, this goes for everybody and anything that we are doing. So it's a great thing to bring up is that like, when we get into a mindset where we are like, oh, I'm just stuck at this. Like, I'm just not good at this. It's like, this is not my strength. We can have that and that's fine, but what helps is to get into more of like a growth mindset-y feel about it. So it's like, this is work by Carol Dweck. And it's like versus a fixed mindset. And it's actually something I learned about when I was teaching. So when you have like, it's like when you're like, I can't, I'm not good at, I just struggle with this. Instead of being like, okay, this is not for me, it helps to be like, okay, I was trying to, it'd be like, it's like, okay, it's like, there were some prompts and another one I found, but it's like, okay, this is a challenge. Challenge is helping grow. Like, you know, it's just like a more optimistic view about being like, okay, this is difficult, but I can do hard things. I'm the kind of person that does hard things. Morgan, you are about like, I know your business is just about to like take off. So it's like, and again, with all of you, it's like, we've got these amazing businesses. It's like, okay, so I can do hard things. I can handle this. Now, within the putting together multiple videos, instead of being like, okay, that's great. Like instead of being like, oh, it's like sunshine and roses, like, oh, I'm just like awesome at video editing. It's like, we don't want to be sarcastic. It's like, okay, I'm learning how to do this. I've never done it before. Of course, it's going to be really hard to do it first. Like, just like what I was saying, Alicia, I was like, same kind of deal. It's like, it's not going to be easy, but we want to be able to be like, okay, I can figure this out. I can figure out how to do the video editing. Now, if you're getting videos from like a lot of different places, what makes me think about that is the reels that I typically do for travels that I've gone on.
That was literally like the first example. I was like, oh, let me do a reel for a trip I took. And then they're all out of order in my camera roll and it overwhelmed me and then I never did it.
So for that, what I like to do for those kind of things is I like to go through and actually, this is perfect because this is exactly, this reel is the perfect example for it. Because these were all different videos that I took the night, like throughout the mastermind when I was out there. So what I did is I went through and I made a folder of all of the videos from that trip. And it's called 200K Mastermind. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I can see it.
a video, and these are like all the videos I was like, oh, these would be fun to like put in here. And then I took those videos from the whole camera roll and I put the ones I really liked into a folder. And then I put it in order. I was like, okay, I'm going to add this one next, and then this one, and then this one. And then if you actually make a reel, it can, when you go to make it, you can drag and drop and you can like edit and you can
Okay, I didn't realize you could do that because I've seen the reels will like automatically put it together for you.
It does.
And I'm like, great, but it's not the order I wanted.
Yeah, that's really fucking weird. And then sometimes also, just a heads up for you guys, when you do, even if I were to upload this blue and white red shirt, you see how I'm talking? Sometimes what it's been doing recently is just really annoying, is it cuts it. It cuts the video short. I don't know why. So you just have to go back and double check. Actually, my social media manager did that for my reel on Friday, and like it was like not great. And I was like, oh, that's a problem. I was like, we need to make sure that we are not doing that in the future. So, but like, again, not taking it too seriously. Like I'm like, oh, like I also one of my clients got like really stuck on that kind of like, and I was like, don't get too stuck on that. It's okay.
Okay. I like the folder idea because that I feel like eliminates a lot of the finding and clicking it in the order I want it, and then the reel completely removes the order. I didn't know you could reorganize them within a folder as well.
And then not within a folder, but within the Instagram app.
Oh, okay. So you can reorganize them there.
Rotating within the folder, but you just have to do it within the app. The other thing is then again, coming back to like every reel I do a post, same freaking reel. It's like all about the 200K Mastermind. And these are pictures from the 200K Mastermind. Same stuff. It's like just pictures that I chose from there. And then I changed it around.
Cool.
Really great question.
And then I saw someone put CapCut in the chat. So do you guys find it's easier or InShot as well, to edit on your phone or on your computer?
Yes. I do it on my phone.
Okay.
Nadia and Armani, do you do that? It's CapCut and phone. Okay. Phone. Okay, cool. So those are phone, but at least, okay, coming back to like the Instagram distracting thing, it's like if Instagram is distracting to you, then use a different app outside of it.
Okay.
So that can help.
I jotted those down. So thank you guys.
Amazing. And I'll let you know about like later and stuff like that. But again, I've literally like, I just hired the social media manager September 7th or something like that. Like she has only been with me for not even 2 months. Like it's been very new and recent. And I've done all this on my own without CapCut, with all those things. Like there's great resources, but I was just like, I need to make this simple. I was like, what is the easiest thing I can do? I'm already have this platform. It was all about like what can I do to make my life as easy as possible. And that's what I found. Now, sometimes the apps do add ease and things like that. Sometimes it takes a little time to get used to them. And so, yeah, that works too.
Hey, Megan, can I ask another question?
Oh yeah, good. Let's get Bisan first, and then Alicia, I'll come right back to you.
Okay.
So I had a question. It's a little bit related to my pillars and kind of where I'm going, if that's okay.
Of course.
Okay, so getting a little bit stuck when it comes to content creation and marketing of who my audience is. So I help people, the language I've been using is like launch or grow your social impact venture. And if I'm talking to people who haven't launched yet, it's like a very different message than if I'm talking to people who are growing their venture.
Okay, I see that. And what you can do with that is you can mix up your marketing. And like, so let's say like first off, I would like to offer that like, I'm kind of in a similar place to you. It's like you guys are like launching and growing. Some of you guys haven't launched yet, and some of you guys are like growing. And so within that, I just made my pillars relevant for people who are in both places. I think your pillars are too. Fulfillment, motivation, clarity, sustainability. I don't think that these are things that you need when you're launching and growing, for sure. Now, the pieces of it, like the finances and like all this stuff, looks very different from somebody. Maybe, I don't know. Do you think that this is actually different than launching and growing?
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if, just because I feel like I'm so confused that I just keep freezing when it comes to marketing. Like that's my I've been like trying to write my first email to my mailing list for like since March. And then I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of time that's passing. So I'm wondering if I just, for the sake of simplicity, talk to people who are looking to launch their business, like to launch a social impact venture, and then talk about like the process that people have gone through.
I think that first off, what do you feel more confident with? For sure. Like, so if this is the launch is the more confident, let's do that. The other thing is within this, like writing an email to March, like for March, I think that there might be something that's in your brain that we could clear up about copy and marketing and all those kind of things.
Definitely.
So when you come to it, it's like what I was like, let's just talk about this. So it's like you've been wanting I'm gonna say goal to write an email, to write to list, right? Whenever you think about it, I have a feeling, which is so fun that you get to talk about something that's like related to something you're going through just at a higher level. I have a feeling there might be some perfectionism. There might be some feelings that are coming up that like there's a right way to say things to get people to work with you. And I want to hear, I actually took a gander at your podcast, and you were like in that like first episode, you're like, I recorded this like 37 times, and I was like, this might be a piece of the puzzle. Like, so within that, what are your thoughts that come up when you want to write an email?
Yeah, my thought is like, where am I going to start? How am I going to position myself? Like, I think I'm making it mean too much about who I am, and like forever, this one email is going to define me, which is really silly when I say it out loud.
Oh, it's okay. We've got to clean up this stuff. Like, no one is judging you at all. We have all been here at so many different pieces. So, but this email is going to define me.
Yeah.
What does it comes up for you?
Yeah, it feels like life or death,
And I'm just gonna
like
say
existential almost. Yeah, it's just
like fear, like
Yeah.
life or death fear, like very at the highest level. So what do you do when you're thinking about writing this list to them? Or what are you not doing? Maybe it's a better question.
I mean, and it's funny because I have about like 25 people who have signed up just through my website, not even like people. And I'm like, well, these are 25 people who want to hear from me. And what I'm not doing is talking to them.
Okay, not talking to them. And it's like, it sounds like there's a little bit of catastrophizing.
Yeah. Or it's just like kicking it down the road. I'm like, okay, I'll get to it. I'll get to it at some point. And now we're in October.
Yeah, it down the road. Okay. The other thing is you're putting like, there's like a lot of pressure on that first one.
Yeah.
The first one, it's like on the first one. I think that your brain is, correct me if I'm wrong, is like, okay, if once this one goes out, then the rest of them will be easier, maybe is a thought.
I feel like once this one goes out, then I'm going to be committed in some way to like, is this the format? Is this like the so it's like a little bit of all or nothing in the sense of like, once I do this, I can only do this.
Yep. Yeah, it's like, oh, well then I can't ever have a guest or like like it's like how am I going to, it's like totally get that, okay? But you like what's happening is you're undermining your ability to see this email does not define you at all. I would say your business, or your future successes are not riding on one email at all. It is the first, like, this is the, at all. Like, literally, I know that these 25 people, of whom would be maybe amazing clients, they're not going to be looking back at your original email years and years from the future. So what is coming up now? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think I still don't know what to say to them.
Perfect. Okay. You know what you say to them? It's going to be fun. You ready? Or it's like, oh, well, this is a very
Well,
important.
my posts have turned a little bit political these days, Megan.
It's totally fine. I was like, but like this, that's your email. Right there. Already done. Back to your old posts. Do you want to know what my emails are? My exact posts. Exactly. Y'all can look. Well, and now that my social media manager is doing it for me, it's a little different. But literally all of my emails are the exact copy of my posts. I literally do my post, I do a testimonial, and then and it's my warm post. So it's like this. Oh, perfect. I was like, wait. So this was my exact email. That was my exact post to, and here's the reason why I do this, by the way. It's not just like, haha, but it's like, well, again, she changed it, but within here, this is the exact how to convert. I missed one. Oh, this is for the warm leads. Anyways, yeah, okay, here it is. There's one of them. Where is mine? 10-9. Where'd it go? It's here. It's here somewhere. Professionals follow up. It was in here. 10-10. See, and this is why I need lines to keep me. But a huge part of presentations is converting people who come. Oh, look, same shit. Work smarter, not harder. Because, and the reason why I do this is 100% of the people on the email list are going to get my this post. Only 13% of people are actually seeing my posts. You think about that, like we want to make the odds ever in their favor to Hunger Games to actually like see and work with you. And if you like are thinking about like testimonials, 89% of people need to see them to buy. So I want to make it statistically inevitable that anybody who wants to build systems with their business they would come to me. And so the other piece of that is takes 18 people on average. People need to see your offer 18 times in order to buy, hence the one offer. So again, I wanted to like statistically be like, okay, if I send this amount of emails, then at least then they've every chance they possibly can to work with me. But my mindset with my emails is like, I just want to help. It's like, what happens is when a big shift from the 6 to 7 figure, actually, a friend of mine, DL, I was like, we can say we're friends. We're more acquaintances, but like, she's a great, great coach. And she was like, you know, the difference between 5 and 7 figures for me, the amount of time I think about myself versus the amount of time I think about other people. Like, oh, shot to the heart. I was like, oh, I just need to think about them. This would be great for them to hear. And so I was thinking to shift, like, this is like normal human brains. We want to think about ourselves, self-preservation, but we want to shift from that to be like, all these 25 people, oh my God, they want to start a social impact venture. How cool is that? 25 people in the world. Do you have any idea how much better the world would be if there were 25 more social impact ventures in the world? How fucking awesome would that be? And if they heard something like that they all have blind spots and just like they need a coach, even though they've been maybe in like these other big corporations. And it's like, man, all they need to hear is that like, we can just find coaching. And like, you might be, it's like, that would be great. It's like, now I'm going to bring this lightness to you. And then you can just add the word and your business.
Yeah.
It's like, I would love you to bring this level of lightness in. How does that feel now?
I mean, that feels really good. It feels like it's so clear of just what I'm going to say. Yeah.
Okay. So if your goal was to write the email and send it this week, so fun. This week, what would you need to think to make that happen? What would you need to be like in your mind, the self-concept shift to make it happen?
I think the thought is I don't know if this is, but the thought that's coming up is they're going to feel more at peace, like when they launch their social impact venture. So it's actually about bringing this feeling of peace to them.
Amazing. What do you feel when you think about being the kind of leader that brings to peace to other people?
It's calm. It's just like, yeah.
And what would you need to do?
I think I need to write from the place of believing that it's in their higher good.
Mm-hmm. And you can do some thought work around that. What time do you want to write this post this week? You can even like get down to that.
Actually, right now, I'm like, okay, right after this, I have like a chunk of time. Like, I'm just going to write it from this energy.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like my face is even getting red because I'm just like so excited. I'm like, oh, feel like emotional, like thinking about all the work that you guys are doing in the world. That's this good work. It's like maybe put on some music.
Yeah.
So like a distraction. As you're looking at, and what you know what's going to happen, just like with all of you guys looking at even like the marketing calendar causing overwhelm. And what you know, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to slip. What can you do to bring yourself back to this service mindset?
I think just to pick one name from the list who I know is actually waiting to hear.
Yes. Back to service. Pick one name. By the way, that's an amazing strategy that I literally did for my post for this one. Is I was talking with a client I had in mind, and I was like, this is what she needed to hear this week.
Yeah.
And that actually makes your copy so much better. I literally just told on Friday, I told my social media manager, I was like, we need to write to one person versus many. Because it's not I feel like it lands so much better. And again, this is a mindset of everything you're doing is so good already. We're just taking you from good to great. Not like, oh my God, this is horror. Like everything I've done for marketing, for email, all this stuff has been bad. It's like, we're just moving you forward. So really, really good. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so excited for this. for the people to read this. They're gonna love it. All right. Any other thoughts from other people, or are we ready to coach somebody else? Oh, let me see.
I don't know if this is helpful or not, but if you land back into getting worried about it, and it, the energy doesn't last forever, and later next week you find yourself there. One thing that helped me when I was getting started, and I mostly communicate through email is my strong seller, was holding two opposite beliefs at the same time. Number one, they need to hear this, and this is going to be so helpful for them, but also nobody's going to read this.
I love that.
So I could just like send it out into the ether and be like, no one's going to read it. So it doesn't matter that it's not perfect or whatever, but also this is exactly what they are going to find so helpful. If that's,
I love that so much.
Take the pressure off. And that's what I wanted to show you guys with the social media marketing too. It's like literally like at my business, I'm like, I spent all this time and nobody came from it, but it's still worth doing. But I was like, oh wow, okay, makes sense. And I'm gonna get even better at doing it. I'm not just gonna like abandon it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm just never gonna post on social media ever, but like, or write emails ever. But it's like it's having that balance. So amazing. Alicia, I was like, it was between you and Bisan, and then Nadia, I'm gonna come back to you right after. Oh, did you have something to add?
Sorry, I was just wanting to say, like, today I did the like the marketing calendar,
Mhm.
and I punched in like all, and I've done it for a month. Like, I don't think I've obviously I've not written the captions, but I'm like, this was the fastest thing ever, because like now I've got idea, like I know what I'm doing, I just need to create the content. And I find that like that, I was just blown away. So I'm really pleased. So honestly, I know it's daunting, but see, once you do it, like it's so good to see. You're like, wow. So I just wanted to share it with you.
Oh my God. I'm like, this might end up becoming one of the text posts that y'all see, because I'm like, yes, it's like it is. Once you do it once, it's so easy. I'm like, and it takes so much less time. And what I didn't tell all of y'all when you were coming, because I don't want people who don't want to work, but I work in my business like 25 hours a week. Because again, I designed this for when I was going to have kids, and then my whole life plan changed, and it's fine. I was like, went through a breakup, and we're moving it on up, and it's totally fine. But it was like one of those things that like I wanted to build this business so I didn't have to work in my business all the time. So huge. I was like, I think that was like a celebration from Harmony and Alicia. Keep your hand up, Harmony, if you want some coaching. Alicia, I know you wanted some coaching around things prior to Bisan.
I was just going to ask about email, because I am primarily email. I don't do, I post on Facebook and in my Facebook group. I don't do a lot on Instagram. I think it's got a lot of potential. And maybe once I get this marketing strategy system going for the marketing that places where I already am, then maybe I can, just shift some of that to IG as well. And that will be easier. But anyway, I was just going to ask about using it for email, but y'all talked a lot about email. So I'm
well, and then the other thing that you want to do is the thing that I showed, I posted in the group. If you guys look back here, this will show you like your if you want to just do what's called if you want to do a reuse old content that you've already done before, at least on Instagram for this, you can see for the last 90 days, you can do a certain amount of time, and you can be like, what are the things that most people were looking at? And then you can see where it says content. It takes a while to load, but it'll show all of the, like, these are the most seen reels and things like that.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you.
Like you don't need to remake the wheel. The
Yeah.
other thing is,
No, I also, I do the same thing you do. I just plaster the same thing in my email becomes my Facebook post, becomes a question inside my Facebook group. So
Perfect. Yes, that's exact. And for me, I'm just starting to do a video in my Facebook group. Same thing. But also, if you post on Instagram, you can do this thing where it says post on Facebook as well. And anything that you do, what from Instagram can post to Facebook. I don't know if it goes the other way, but if it does,
it does. The problem is that it goes to, because I have an Instagram business account, it goes to my business Facebook page, which is just a page. It won't go to my personal feed or into my group. So I mean, that's just a little hiccup, but it's not that big a problem.
instead of being a business account, you can also play around with switching it to a creator account and it'll link to your personal. I don't know if you've ever tried that, but like
not because it is because one thing I can do is I can schedule from, I use Wix as my platform for everything. And I
Okay.
can schedule through Wix on Instagram only if I have an Instagram business account. So that's how I landed here. But I can explore all of that we don't need to use coaching time for all that stuff. But anyway, thank you.
Of course. And also, like, if you want to like look into the stats of your emails, I don't know what email, again, you do not need to have an email list to grow your business, but you can see how many people I sent it to, how many opened, how many clicked. So that's data you can use as well instead of like the views.
Yes. Yeah.
We're doing that based on vanity metrics, but still can be helpful.
Thank you.
Cool. Who else wants some coaching? Today was, I feel like, so productive. Also, like, so once we get these systems down, then what we can do is we can start to be like, okay, it's like, Megs, I need some help with my marketing calendar. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to just bring me your marketing calendar and you're going to put it in the chat, and then we'll be able to play with it on our coaching calls. So the coaching calls don't just have to be mindset related. I want it to also have the strategy piece. And if you're like, I just need you to help me make my marketing calendar, can you show me an example? I'm making my content. That's what you can bring to the call for next week. Even though we're going to be discussing next week, we're going to be talking about selling. It's going to be, it's only one module. So it's, as you see, like there's like a little line for these first two. It's almost like two modules in one, but I felt like it was important to still break it up a little bit when I refilmed them. But with the selling, it's only one module. It's only one set of slide sheets. For managing, it's only one. And teaching's a heavy one as well, but like it's only one module. So bring your marketing calendars next week. If you want to just table this and then bring it next week, feel free to do that as well. Great. Anybody else? I can stay on a little longer if you guys need. If you want to just do the marketing calendar now. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I was wondering if I could get some quick coaching / quick question, I guess.
Of course. And if anybody needs to roll and because of a time thing, I love you all so much. I know this is a lot. You guys are crushing it. Proud. All right. Raquel, quick coaching. Let's go.
Okay. Sorry. I had my camera off, so we're doing all the things. It's nap time, but I really want to ask you this question, so we're going to delay nap for a minute.
Love it.
Okay, so when we did our consult call, I had talked about so I have a lifetime group, and I've been in a lot of drama about like if that's getting good results and people showing up, not showing up. And then I had a week where people came and I was like, there are people getting some really good results here. And so I started realizing, I'm like, maybe me wanting to change from a lifetime group to a live launch group might be like some drama versus actual data. I'm still not sure. Like, it's possible that approach might be better. Hey, but sorry, she thinks she gets to talk to. So anyways, my question is, I am trying to figure out if I should make a change based on actual data.
Okay.
So I guess I haven't been tracking results, and I think that's kind of what I need to do. sorry. But so I haven't been tracking results, and I realized I need to start tracking results, and then I will kind of have a sense of like, oh, okay, yes, this format needs to change or doesn't need to change, rather than just jumping into a change because I feel like it's working or not working. And so anyways, my question is, how, with like having an ongoing group, like any thoughts on like how I could maybe start implementing live, like tracking everyone's results rather than I guess, does that make sense? Because I've already had people in the group, and so I don't have that baseline to start with. And so I'm like, can I just start measuring where they're at right now and then kind of watch and see their progress? Or maybe I keep adding people in through the rest of the year and I track their baseline and then I reevaluate in 3 months or 6 months. I don't know. I think measuring results would be good to do before I just throw everything out the window. But I'm kind of getting stuck in like, okay, well, how do I do that?
Exactly. And like how like last week we were kind of shifting from being the kind of person that you're like, okay, like that level of like intensity. I want to give you another self-concept shift. And this goes for literally everybody. I want you to think about what you would do if, and this is kind of like more so the choice between, I hope you can't hear Rob yelling right now. I was like, he is doing the most. But I was like, if the choice between, do I want to switch to a lifetime group or an open and closed launch? It's like, I want you to be the kind of CEO that like everything I choose works. Everything that I do will work depending on like, it's like I either whether it's a live group or it's a lifetime group, if it's a live launch versus a lifetime group. That was my thought for you here, was that like, okay, if everything I choose works, what is going to be the best for me? What is going to be the best for them? And like from that place standpoint. Then with the tracking piece, it was like, yes, just start where they are. It's like, it doesn't need to be like a big thing where you're like, oh my gosh, we aren't tracking and things like that. What I did, I think in the first group, Demetria, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we didn't do these forms until like week. It's like I started it with like a huge progress form for everybody, and I had to switch it to be for like each person. I had to like be like, oh man, it's like each person actually needs a new progress form. So I switched it right in the middle. And I was like, sorry. It's like, we're switching it. Because I had the self-concept, like, this works really well. This is gonna work better. I don't want to change it like at the end. I don't want to just like wait to give them a progress form. I want to change this right now. And so then I did. And I was like, well, because my self-concept was there. Because I was like, oh, as a CEO, I can just change something right in the middle and be like, okay. It's like, yeah, I could totally make that work.
Yeah, that's actually interesting you bring that up, because I think that I don't know, because there's like two sides, where there's a side of me that wants to change things all the time to perfect it. But then there's also the side of me that feels like you can't change it. Like, especially like, oh, you already have a lifetime group in place. That's it. Like, you owe people this forever. There's no changing it now. So I think that is a good mindset shift to like, for at least that half of me that wants to like have it stuck somewhere, of like that it's allowed to be fluid, that a CEO changes things.
Yes, you do. And it's like, you're allowed to change things at any time. That goes for like anything for everyone in anyone's business. The other thing is, did these people sign a contract? Were they like,
with the lifetime group?
Yeah. It's like, are they
Yeah.
like,
so it technically, there is a contract, and technically it's a lifetime for the program, right? So like I could say tomorrow, like, hey, it's done, right? But then I get like guilty because I'm like, oh, well, someone signed up like 2 months ago. They didn't really get their money's worth, like.
okay, so in that place is like, so for me, it's like this group used to be that like I would give you lifetime access to things. And then what I realized is that like things change so much. I've changed these pillars every single round, like every single time. And there's like outdated stuff here where I was like, oh, you should start a Facebook group. And now I'm like, do I delete my Facebook group? You know what I mean? It's like things changed pretty quickly. And so when you are making that shift, first off, just like making sure it's like contractually there. And the other thing is being like, you will have lifetime access to all the old stuff. And you're also going to have life when we're thinking about like this next round being like, I'm going to grandfather you in and be like, for this next, it's like, you're going to have lifetime access and a bonus because I know that you thought this was lifetime. I'm going to grandfather you into this next round of the year membership. So it's like, you're going to get all the old stuff. I'm going to create a new group. It's a new thing. And I'm going to grandfather you in because you expected that weekly coaching. And this is just going to be your source here. And then after that year, it's going to be an annual subscription. But with that, I feel like also we talked about it's like $200 a month. Like it's a very low price for this subscription. Right?
Yeah, well, I've even had thoughts about changing that because it's supposed to be $2,000 or 12 monthly payments of $200. But I've noticed that, so they're supposed to pay all 12 payments, but I've noticed people doing like the 12 monthly payments tend to be like treating it more like subscription that they can cancel at any time kind of thing. So then I have like that in my mind I'm playing with, and I'm not sure if I like that.
Well, and then so what we can do is we can just like from a place of like sufficiency and being like, I think this would be best for them, best for me. It's like, I think that a year to go through all this, like healing from a relationship anxiety, I think a year really is like, oh, such a sweet spot. It's so good for them. And I want to make sure that I am able to change that as well. And like, just know that you can always change those parameters for them for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like, yeah, I need some like, I guess actually someone said this earlier that I really liked of holding two opposing thoughts at work. So I feel like I need a thought around the like how change is okay and good. And then also a thought around like, I don't need to change my business model every week. Because I feel like sometimes I'm trying to do that.
Yup. To change weekly. That's so freaking good. I'm like, yes. Amazing.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. How are you feeling?
Better. I'm excited to talk to you more about the pillars because I do think getting clear on the results I'm offering will really, really help with this.
I think so too. I totally think so too. Amazing. Anybody else for some last minute? Okay, Maria, have a great one. Anybody else? We're feeling good and complete. Amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so fun. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful week and I will see you guys next week. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.